Welcome to another episode of UFC Underworld Fight Club. Here we are, April the 9th, the day after UFC 287 has wrapped, and as I predicted, Israel Adesanya is the middleweight champion again. Well, I'm not going to toot my own horn too much. I actually predicted that Israel Adesanya would probably get a decision, but he's been saying all week that he's coming to fight like a freaking dog. He showed up in a dress and a dog collar, and I told my buddy, hey, if that guy shows up dressed like that, he must be pretty confident. And that he was, and good reason to be, because he knocked this guy out. He left him frozen like Elsa. And I'm not going to say I always knew that it would go this way, but I chose Izzy to win this fight. He won the fight, and he did it in such a fashion that I don't even remember that he lost to Alex Pereira anymore. I mean, this was just such an awesome story. All credit to Alex Pereira. I mean, this couldn't have happened without him. But at the end of the day, I kind of just sum up all those losses Izzy had to this guy as just a series of unfortunate events. Let's start back in April of 2016, exactly about 7 years ago. 7, lucky number. So they fight for the first time in some place called Glory Kickboxing. It was a pretty back and forth match. I'm happy to admit, Israel lost the fight. I mean, I'd say that Alex won the first 2 rounds. The second round was pretty close, but Izzy definitely won the third round, and he lost the decision. And yeah, the judges got it right. Alex landed the more cleaner shots. He landed more leg kicks, even though they were both kicking each other in the legs for the most part of the fight. It really wasn't that exciting. You can see that they were pretty early on in their careers, and Izzy just took it on the chin, man. Didn't complain about the loss. We all know that they met for a second time, and we'll get to that. But overall, Izzy put up a good fight. Alex just put up an even better fight that night. And I've never had anything against Alex Pereira. I mean, we didn't even know who he was about a year or two ago. My thing is that the guy just didn't really have a personality. I didn't know his story. You'll hear me talk about that in one of my previous videos. But I've come to actually appreciate this kid, and I actually really like him. Think he's a great martial artist, and I'm proud of how far he's come. But Izzy's my man. He's cool. I can relate to this guy. He's got a cheerful attitude about life, and I appreciate his wisdom and everything that he has given to us in combat sports. But I have to admit, it was bizarre to see how many people were just betting on Alex going into this fight. And I can understand why. I mean, he's beat him like 3 times before this. But something tells me that these are all the same fans that were just on Izzy's side. And this is a common thing with fans, you know, they just follow each other and whatever's trending most of the time. That's why I make these shows. I make these shows because somebody needs to just come out with an unbiased take on things without saying the same thing everybody else is saying, and just be a real freaking supporter. I love Izzy, man. He's great. I'm not gonna flip on him just because he's losing fights. This guy has preached nothing but a positive message ever since he stepped on the scene. He's been a unique individual and himself at all times, and I can appreciate that because I share that same quality. Regardless of all the fake fans that turned on Izzy and went to Alex Pereira's side despite not even knowing who this guy was a year ago, I never did. The only difference is I have a YouTube channel. I have to come out and show my face and voice my opinions and stand on what I believe in. And if it doesn't go my way, it's still out there. It's not like I'm going to delete the video. You can go through my catalog and look at all my prediction videos and live streams, even though the audio quality sucks on those, which I'm working on. Give me some time. But you'll see, most of the time I get it right. I believe when I chose Alexander Volkanovski to beat Islam Makhachev, I was right. I believe that Alexander Volkanovski won that fight. I picked Leon Edwards to beat Usman. That turned out right. And I went ahead and picked Israel Adesanya to beat Alex Pereira tonight, and that's exactly what happened. And what do you know? Anywhere I go, there's a bunch of the same freaking fans talking shit, like smoking on that Powhatan pack and all this fake ass bullshit. these guys are just floaters, man. And that's why I don't get on here and ask everybody to subscribe to my channel, because it's not authentic. If you wanted to subscribe, you would. If you don't, doesn't matter. I'm still gonna be here doing this because it needs to be done. We don't need a bunch of fake followers saying the same shit everybody else is saying just to be a part of the crowd. That's not what MMA is really about. It's about competition to see who's the best. And the best isn't someone who is just like the rest. So Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira have a second fight, and Israel Adesanya was actually performing better in this fight, way better than he did in the last fight. But Israel Adesanya still wasn't at his very best. Alex Pereira knocked him out. Everybody knows what happened. Izzy came out, he was kicking Alex Pereira's ass all across the freaking ring, dude. Alex Pereira found that shot, that freaking left hook, dude. Put Israel Adesanya out, man. And there's no two ways about that. He simply got beat. The punch went through, he got knocked out, and that's that. Before that punch got through, Israel Adesanya was whooping Alex Pereira's ass so bad that they had to give him a standing 8 count, whatever the fuck that is. Some shit they do in kickboxing, apparently. So basically, it could have been a TKO. It just depends on what ref was in the ring that night and how they were feeling. Alex Pereira recovered like he's known to do, and he came back and won the fight. After losing to a guy twice, Israel Adesanya must have been in a state of mind like, damn, maybe I just can't beat this guy. He moved on from Glory Kickboxing and went on to achieve so many other things in MMA and the UFC, and he continued to get better, which is leading us up to how good he is today and how good he performed last night at UFC 287. Before we get to present day events, Alex Pereira actually found his way to Israel Adesanya into the UFC. You see, Israel Adesanya went on to do all these great things in the UFC, but he got a little cocky in an interview one day. You know, they brought up Alex Pereira being the only guy to have ever beaten him, and he decided to take the cocky road and basically seal his fate. He said some things that Alex Pereira took as a challenge, and that he did. Took it all the way to the UFC, beat about 3 guys in the UFC, and got the title fight. And then we get the third fight between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira in the UFC. Izzy did not hesitate to take this fight. He knew it was coming, and the fight happened. Israel did pretty good in the early rounds. Actually, he did pretty good in all of the rounds, except for the 5th round. You know, he was kicking Alex Pereira's ass. You know, he was pretty much on his way to a victory. But Alex Pereira was able to recover from that big shot Izzy landed in the first round. Just like in their second fight, it looked like he was probably going to be going out. But he didn't go out. He stayed in the fight, he came back, and he finished Izzy in the 5th round. It was a TKO. And I'm getting kind of sick and tired of everybody referencing that fight as being ended in a KO. It wasn't a KO. It was a TKO. The ref stopped the fight. It all started with the leg kick that Izzy checked from Pereira. You know, he had to roll out of it. His leg went numb. And then he caught himself back on the fence, which is where Izzy was for pretty much the whole freaking fight, which was kind of annoying to see. I mean, Izzy was pretty scared in this fight. I'm not gonna cut for him, dude. He was scared and he was fucking nervous all week. He was shivering, dude, because he lost to this guy twice. And this motherfucker's so much of a maniac, he fucking saw an interview and went and found him. Now he came to take everything that Izzy's worked for. And that he did. Got it done in the 5th round. Izzy looked like he wanted to fucking cry, but he didn't, man. He bowed to the people in the freaking fans, and, you know, he just took it on the chin just like he has always taken the loss from this guy on the chin, dude. But he didn't just take it on the chin. He took it to fucking heart, man. He didn't show it too much. You know, he went away after this fight and got arrested for some brass knuckles or some shit. He stayed with his family and just enjoyed the holidays. It was announced that this rematch was going to happen. We didn't have a date. We soon got a date. And that rematch just happened. But before we get to that point, we have to understand, Izzy at this point has lost to this guy 3 times. The heart of Israel Adesanya to still believe in himself and know that he can beat this guy. That this is all just a part of the story. Everything happens for a reason. And now we see Israel Adesanya, the last of the three kings and the only one to be able to reclaim their throne, bro. It's pretty amazing to see, man. And before all that happened, you gotta see it from Izzy's point of view, man. He has the whole world looking at him like he was never really that good. That there was this mysterious guy out there that was his kryptonite all along, even though most of these people hadn't even watched the kickboxing matches. If they had, they'd know that Izzy was doing really good in the first fight, lost by the skin of his teeth. He almost finished the guy in the second fight, got caught with the shot. And then in the third fight, he was kicking his ass every round until he got caught in the fifth round. And I really believe the only reason he got caught in that fifth round is because he was fighting on borrowed time the whole fight anyway. His back was against the fence. He was letting Pereira walk him down. He was really timid with his shots. He would throw one punch and back out of the way. And he was kind of dancing away from this guy the whole fight, just trying to stay out of harm's way. But Izzy decided that didn't fucking work. Nothing that he has tried up until this point has worked. So what does he do? He doesn't bitch out. He puts on a fucking dress and a dog collar and turns into a fucking demon, dude. He says, I'm gonna go give it everything I got. I still believe in myself. I know how to beat this guy. I just gotta do it this time. I can't dance around and try to freaking tiptoe to a decision and just, twinkle toes all the way to the finish line. This guy decided to come out and do what I know he needed to do, which is whenever this fucking giant son of a bitch tries to back you up, go forward, intelligently though. And I was screaming that on my stream. A couple of people watched it, and I predicted most of those fights accurate as well. But most of all, I was going to stick by my decision with Adesanya, and I'm glad I did, and I knew he was going to do it. This was nerve-wracking for me as a fan, dude. But this all turned out just as I knew it would, either with some sort of decision or some sort of knockout. And I knew it wasn't going to be Izzy this time. Izzy was going to go out in flames, bro. And that he did. When Pereira came out, tried to back him up, Izzy stood his fucking ground. And Izzy actually leaned on a strategy that he kind of used in their third fight. You see, in that third fight in the UFC, Izzy hit him with a big shot like we just saw. He almost put him out. His back was against the fence. Alex Pereira just started wailing on him, and he got the stoppage. I knew going into this fight that Alex Pereira is rushing to the 205 weight division because he can't make this weight cut anymore. The only reason he's even here is because vengeance. He wanted vengeance and to take everything that Izzy had for what Izzy said. He already achieved that. He's beat this guy 3 times. Do you think that his mind is really on beating Izzy for a 4th time for the middleweight championship, which he's already obtained, and he's already looking towards 205? No. But he had to do this fight. I'm pretty sure it was probably in the contract. So he has a hard weight cut again. He doesn't get to, sneak off and get an IV like Islam Makhachev did. He has to fucking do this shit all over again with Israel Adesanya, and when Israel Adesanya is more motivated than he's ever been because he's already lost everything. He's tried every kind of thing to beat this guy, and it hasn't worked. So, last resort, go out guns a-blazing, bro. Go out toe-to-toe, fucking blow for blow, and see where it goes. And where did it go? Ended up with motherfucking Alex Pereira frozen like snow, frozen like Elsa.